Good evening. I am April Ramos, ATF student, Section E. Today I will discuss about acute myeloid leukemia. Acute myeloid leukemia, also called AML, is a cancer of the blood and bone marrow cells. It affects group of white blood cells called myeloid cells because they are formed in a bone marrow. Acute means that it develops and advances quickly and requires immediate treatment. Normally, myeloid and the other blood cells are produced in the bone marrow, the spongy area in the middle of the bones. In a carefully regulated fashion, in some with the AML, this process is abnormal. Large numbers of immature and abnormal myeloid cells, called myoblasts or just blasts, are produced, fill the bone marrow space, and are released into the bloodstream. In their immature state, these cells cannot perform their usual functions. The overgrowth of the cells leads to inadequate number of normal, healthy blood cells, including the white blood cells, red blood cells, and platelets. This can result in neutropenia, low numbers of neutrophils. Neutrophils are the type of white blood cells that helps to fight infection. People with neutropenia are more likely to get infections. Anemia, low numbers of red blood cells. Red blood cells circulate in the blood vessels and carry oxygen to our tissues. People without enough red blood cells may be pale and are often tired and short of breath. Thrombocytopenia, low numbers of platelets. Platelets are small cells in the blood that helps to prevent and stop bleeding. People with low platelets have bleeding and spontaneous bruising. Same with the case of my brother-in-law. He has acute myeloid leukemia. These are the general information about acute myeloid leukemia treatment. A number of chemotherapy medications are effective against AML. The goal of treatment is to kill the malignant cells without damaging the residual normal bone marrow cells. Studies are underway to find the best medicines, doses, and treatment schedules of AML. Researchers have discovered that the genetic makeup of the abnormal myeloid cells can vary, which affects how to respond to treatment. Your treatment can be tailored based upon a careful analysis of your genetic material. These genetic changes are due to mutations that are acquired within bone marrow stem cells and thereby affect all the malignant daughter cells that all produce. It is not known how these mutations develop. They are generally not produced. It is not known how these mutations develop. They are generally not thought to be inherited but rather developed by chance. Treatment of AML depends upon the specific subtype of AML. For example, people with a certain type of AML called acute promyelocytic leukemia may be treated with other non-chemotherapy medications. Treatment also depends on your age and presence of any other active medical problems. The usual treatment of AML is divided into two phases: introduction of remission and post-remission therapy. So we will talk about introduction of remission in acute myeloid leukemia. The initial phase of treatment is referred of a remission induction therapy. Induction therapy with chemotherapy drugs is given with the goal of decreasing the number of leukemia cells to an undetectable level and thereby restoring the production of normal blood cells. Chemotherapy refers to the use of medicines to stop or slow the growth and longevity of cancer cells. Chemotherapy targets growing cells, interfering with their ability to divide or multiply. Because most of an adult, normal blood cells are not actively growing. They are not as affected as much by chemotherapy as the cancer cells. However, the normal cells in the bone marrow, where the blood cells are produced, hair follicles, and the lining of the gastrointestinal tract are all growing. Effects of chemotherapy on the other normal tissues cause side effects during treatment, including hair loss, nausea, anemia, lowered red blood cells count, are increased in risk of infection, lowered white blood cell count, are bleeding, lowered platelet count. About intensive remission induction therapy of AML generally includes drug called cytarabine, which is usually given continuously for 7 days through an intravenous IV plus either daunorubicin or idarubicin, which are given IV injections on the first treatment. This combination, sometimes called 7+3 regimen, for leukemia that has developed particular mutations of the certain other characteristic, a third drug may be added to the 7+3 regimen. This drug kills AML cells for the first 7 to 14 days, but it takes weeks to the bone marrow to produce enough normal blood cells again. A second course of chemotherapy may be needed in the leukemia did not respond well enough to the first treatment with 7+3. As a result, intensive remission in the induction therapy usually requires hospitalization for 4 or more weeks for supportive care with IV antibiotics and frequent transfusion. Induction therapy frequently results in a complete remission of the AML, meaning that there is no visible leukemia cells in the blood or bone marrow. When examined under a microscope and the bone marrow is functioning normally, however, such remissions are usually short-lived unless additional post-remission therapy is given. For people who decline intensive treatment or who are not suitable for 7+3 because of other medical conditions, there are other lower intensity treatment that can control but not cure. Complete remission. The first goal of AML treatment is to achieve complete remission. Complete remission means that there is no visible evidence of leukemia cells in the blood or bone marrow. The bone marrow is functioning normally, and normal numbers of healthy foods cells have returned to the circulation. A bone marrow biopsy and blood testing are done to determine this. Sensitive laboratory can sometimes detect leukemia is not readily observed by a microscope. This is called minimal residual disease or MRD, or measurable residual disease. Its persistence may impact additional treatment plans. Okay, about post-remission therapy of acute myeloid leukemia. Post-remission therapy is given in the intention of killing leukemia cells that may remain in the bone marrow or blood but are detectable under the microscope. There are 3 basic treatment choices for post-remission therapy. Additional therapy, sometimes called remission consolidation therapy. Stem cell transplantation from a healthy donor. Allogenic stem cell transplantation. Stem cell transplantation using your own stem cells. Autologous stem cell transplantation. The best post-remission treatment depends upon the several factors, including how aggressive or resistant to treatment the AML is, people with AML can be classified by risk based on genetic testing of their leukemia cells. People with favorable risk disease are usually advised to continue with chemotherapy. Many of these patients are cured in this way. People with unfavorable risk disease are usually advised to have an allogenic stem cell plantation if possible. The best treatment for immediate risk disease is not clear. Participation in the clinical trial is recommended. When possible, most AML is intermediate risk disease. Additional chemotherapy. Chemotherapy given after remission called remission consolidation or post-remission chemotherapy, and often includes high-dose cytarabine. Consolidation therapy is usually given in the hospital over several days and repeated every 4 to 6 weeks. Most patients are able to recuperate at home between courses of chemotherapy, although transfusions are usually required as an outpatient for several weeks until the normal blood counts recover. Consolidation therapy is given for approximately 2 to 6 months. Stem cell transplantation. Stem cell transplantation, also called bone marrow transplantation or hematopoietic cell transplantation, HCT, is a treatment in which you are given high doses of chemotherapy or total body irradiation. This treatment is intended to kill cancer cells, but it also destroys all normal cells developing in the bone marrow. This means that your body's normal source of critical blood components are no longer functional. Therefore, after this intensive treatment, you must receive a healthy supply of young blood cells called stem cells that are reintroduced or transplanted using transfusion. The transplanted cells then re-establish the blood cell production process in the bone marrow. The new stem cells also generate a new immune system. Stem cell transplantation is not recommended for all patients with AML. Serious and sometimes even fatal complications occur more commonly after donor or cell transplantation than with chemotherapy. In certain groups of people, there is no clear benefits to stem cell transplantation over chemotherapy. However, transplantation may be appropriate in some people, such as those with more aggressive forms of AML, those who have a relapse following a period of remission, and those who do not achieve complete remission after initial chemotherapy. There are two types of stem cell transplantation, allogenic and autologous. What is allogenic? Allogenic transplantation is generally preferred over autologous transplantation in people with AML. It uses stem cells for a healthy donor, ideally a sibling with similar genetic makeup, called match-related donor. If you do not have a sibling with similar genetic characteristics, an unrelated person which is similar genetic makeup may be used, called a match-unrelated donor. Other possibilities include the use of sibling with partially similar genetic characteristics or cord blood stem cells collected at birth from a newborn's umbilical cord. Allogenic transplantation treats AML in two ways. First, high dose of chemotherapy or radiation are given immediately before the transplant, which kills the leukemia cells present in the blood and bone marrow that might be resistant to lower doses of chemotherapy. Second, when stem cells from other person are transfused, some of the donor stem cells mature into immune cells. And these donor immune cells can cause an immune response that helps destroy any remaining leukemia cells. This is called the graft versus leukemia or graft versus tumor effect. Unfortunately, this response is so associated with complication called graft versus host diseases, in which the immune response includes an attack on some of the patient's own healthy organs. Symptoms can include severe skin rash, diarrhea, liver damage, and other problems. In an autologous transplant, your own normal stem cells are collected while you are in complete remission. Shortly afterwards, high dose of chemotherapy or radiation is given. After your chemotherapy or radiation is complete, the harvested cells are returned by a intravenous infusion or IV. Because the transplanted cells do not come from other person, there is no graft versus host disease. This helps to avoid of the side effects of treatment. However, autologous transplantation is also somewhat less effective than allogeneic transplantation is fighting with leukemia. Because of the lack of graft versus leukemia effect, autologous transplantation is less often recommended for treatment of AML. This reason. So we will talk about also the acute myeloid leukemia treatment for older people. In generally, people over 60 years of age do not respond as well to treatment of AML. This is related to the following factors: difficulty to treat, chemotherapy resistant. Leukemia cells may be more common in older people. This means that AML that occurs in older people tends to be more resistant to standard chemotherapy drugs. In older people, the presence of other disorders such as diabetes, kidney, lung, or other heart disease increases the risk of treatment-related complications. Treatment decisions of older people with AML are best made of course by case-to-case basis. In otherwise healthy older people, even those more than 75 years of age whose leukemia is not high risk, according to genetic testing induction, chemotherapy is generally recommended. In older people with slowly processing AML, severe underlying health problems, or genetically high risk and unfavorable AML, the expected benefit of chemotherapy may be not worth and anticipated discomfort, hospitalization, and other potentially toxic side effects. Less intensive chemotherapy regimens are under the development of our older patients, and enrollment on a clinical trial of one of these regimens may be suggested. If the potential risk of chemotherapy is greater than benefit support, potential benefit, support may be recommended. Supportive care generally includes blood transfusion for anemia or bleeding and antibiotics as needed for infections. Which treatment is right for me? You and your family should get information to your healthcare provider about your type of AML, expected benefits of various treatments, possible side effects and toxicities, and your long-term outlook. These discussions are critical to determining the best course of action for you. Many new drugs or drug combinations are currently being studied for patients with AML. The best treatment you may include a clinical trial so you can have an access to the latest new drugs. Treatment of relapse or resistant acute myeloid leukemia. Limited number of treatments are effective in the treatment of AML does not respond. Induction chemotherapy, or AML that relapses after initial chemotherapy. About half of people with first remissions, the last at least 1 year benefit from a second treatment with remission induction therapy. Such as treatment might include high-dose cytarabine, doxorubicin, or iradubicin, plus mutation, plus cytarabine or similar drug combination. For patients who relapses AML has a mutation in the IDH1 gene or the IDH2 gene, treatment with an oral drug called ivosidenib or enasidenib, respectively, is another option. Patients with AML has a mutation in the FLT3 gene may respond to an oral drug called gilteritinib. Stem cell transplantation should be considered for patients with relapsed AML after a second complete or partial remission is obtained. People who relapse with 12 months of their initial diagnosis usually have AML with a high degree of drug resistance and therefore have a lower likelihood of achieving a second complete remission. Medicines specifically approved for use of patients with relapsed AML or experimental agents may be useful in this setting, followed by stem cell transplantation if a remission occurred. Long-term monitoring of acute, this is about long-term monitoring of acute myeloid leukemia. Once you are in a complete remission and have completed post-remission therapy, you will need long-term monitoring so that any relapse can be detected quickly and treated. Relapse is most likely to occur within the first 2 years after completion of induction chemotherapy, and it becomes less common later. Prognosis. Your chances of being cured of AML depend upon a number of factors, including your age, other health conditions, how aggressive your AML is, and whether you have ever been treated with chemotherapy or another disorder before your AML diagnosis. In other study, approximately 65, 40, and 15% of people with favorable, intermediate, and unfavorable risk disease, respectively, were alive 5 years after diagnosis. However, when discussing chances of cure, it is important to remember that these numbers represent averages and not necessarily predict that will happen to you. Clinical trials. Many patients with leukemia will be asked to enroll in a clinical research trial. A trial is a carefully controlled way to study the effectiveness of new treatment or new combinations of known therapies. Okay, what are the stages of AML? AML affects the bone marrow's ability to produce normal production white and red blood cells as well as blood platelets. Instead, the bone marrow produces the blast cells which aren't completely formed. Your oncologist will also stage your AML based on the overall blood cells counts. And whatever there is leukemia cells in vital organs such as liver, this is different than stages of other cancers, which are typically based on the size of the tumors and their spread or metastasis. In some cases, AML is often detected until the spread of organs. Overall staging, this cancer depends on how much is spread, the amount of leukemia cells in the body, and how many healthy blood cells you have. Okay. What factors affect chances of recovery? AML tends to progress rapidly. Recovery may depend on the subtype as well as the following factors. Being over age 60 having a prior history of blood disorders. A white blood cells count measuring 100,000 or more trusted sources. Spread of the cancer of your spleen, liver, or other organs. Spread of the cancer to your brain or spinal cord. Chromosome abnormalities in cells, abnormal genes in leukemia cells, and blood infections. Also, recovery from AML may be more challenging in your case is the result of treatment of separate cancer. The odds of recovery are greater depending on how the body responds on the treatment on. Cases of active diseases soon after treatment and during relapses may be present in more challenging prognosis. So, what is the average lifespan of some diagnosed with AML? There is no definite way to determine a person's lifespan after being diagnosed with AML. While about 30% trusted sources, people with AML survive at least 5 years. The exact estimated lifespan after being diagnosed with AML depends on a variety of factors. These include how aggressive the cancer is upon diagnosis, your age, your overall response to treatment. AML is the most common acute leukemia. The other National Organization for Rare Disorders estimate that at least half of people who receive a diagnosis are 65 years old and more. Younger people under 60, trusted source, who have AML may be more responsive to early treatment and active remission, according to the American Cancer Society. What are the symptoms of final stages of AML? Symptoms of the final stages of AML are similar to end-stage symptoms of types of leukemia. This may include cool, dry skin, slow or labored breathing, blurry vision, decreased urination or incontinence, restlessness or involuntary muscle movements, decreased movements or weaknesses, loss of appetites, and decreased fluid intakes, increased drowsiness and sleepiness, chances in the heart, signs of bleeding such as under the skin or petechiae, or from the nose, pain, hallucinations, confusions, loss of consciousness. So, what happens during the final stages? The exact prognosis regarding the final stages of AML depends on any related complications. People over age 60 with cancer found in an increased risk of bleeding and infections resulting in hospitalization rather than hospice care. Another 2015 study showed that most people in the final stage of AML are hospitalized. The chances of being at home were increased during active or relapse stages, in which palliative care was used. Researchers who also noted that fewer people were hospitalized during AML end stages. Outlook for those with AML. While AML can progress rapidly, an early diagnosis followed by aggressive treatment may help you live as long as possible. Despite treatment, there are certain factors that can increase the risk of reaching the end stages of AML. These include older ages, cancer subtype, and whether the cancer has spread to vital organs. It's important to discuss all aspects of AML with your doctor, including the subtype and treatment options, so you can make informed decisions to help prolong your life. Where to find support for AML? Where to find support to AML? Working through a terminal AML prognosis can be difficult, and social emotional support may be more important than ever at this stage. There are a variety of in-person and online leukemia support groups available for these patients and their loved ones. These groups provide opportunities to connect with others who may be going through similar experience. Thank you. lahat po ng nabasa ko dito, ito po din lahat po yung mga naramdaman na nakita ko din po sa aking brother-in-law. Thank you po.